Before I start the video, I'm gonna say two things. First things first, I like Prehistoric Planet and think it's decent, and I would personally rate the show around a 6 or 7 out of 10. Yes, I'm being serious. And second, I need y'all to be civil in the comments. I guarantee a vast majority of y'all are gonna disagree with my opinions on this show, and that's fine. But I've seen how toxic this discussion can get, and the last time I saw a content creator make a video like this, he got sent multiple death threats and was harassed for his opinion. I encourage civil discussions in the comments, but I will not tolerate any toxic behavior. I genuinely banned multiple slurs from my comment sections because I was making this video. This is just a dinosaur documentary, and I hope y'all discuss your opinions civilly. But with that out of the way, I hope y'all enjoy the video. Prehistoric Planet is the most popular paleo documentary of the past decade, with it being praised for its accuracy, quality of the CGI, and narration from the legend Sir David Attenborough. And I have to agree with these points. The level of accuracy on these animals is elite, and the show has some of the best CGI I've seen in my life, with plenty of the close-up shots looking real. The narration is also pretty solid, with the legendary Sir David Attenborough narrating the first 2 seasons, and it's pretty good. Tom Hiddleston narrated the 3rd season, and he does a decent job. Obviously, he's never gonna top Sir David Attenborough, but he's alright. Now you might be asking, Regalius, what do you not like about Prehistoric Planet? And I have one main issue: the writing. The often lackluster writing of the first 2 seasons of Prehistoric Planet is almost always ignored by fans of the show, with many of the episodes being nothing more than poorly stitched together segments of dinosaurs. Now, I could talk about these flaws in a broad general context, but I think it's a lot easier to grasp my points by providing an example, and I will be discussing the 3rd episode from the 2nd season, Swamps. It should seem like a pretty straightforward concept for an episode, showing animals living and interacting with each other in swamp environments. But for some reason, they showed T-Rex hunting a Montosaurus in a forest, and in the same episode, they show Pachycephalosaurus fighting in a dry environment, and I'm aware the region is a dried up swamp, but I think that's personally a poor excuse. The problem of having an episode be about one biome just for there to be a segment in that episode that would fit another episode better is a huge issue with the show in my opinion, and this is especially prevalent in season 2, as the Icysaurus and Rajasaurus segments would have fit far better in Fire and Ice, and the Badlands episode is just another symptom of this, as they poorly connect the volcano and deserts. But in my opinion, the North America episode is the prime example of this, as it just feels like all the segments that they put into one episode as they were left over. Almost every episode in Prehistoric Planet has segments that are poorly connected, with another example being from the freshwater episode. As fun as the Velociraptor hunt sequence is, what connection does it have to freshwater besides it being on a cliff with a waterfall? What connection does the T-Rex hunting the Monosaurus in a forest have to do with swamps? Many of the episodes just have a weird biome presence, with islands, North America, and Badlands being good examples. The islands episode doesn't deal very much with animals actually being on islands, and it feels disconnected to the title. What connection does Imperabator have to islands besides being on one? If the narrator didn't mention that it was on an island, we wouldn't know. The same applies to the Badlands, as the episode feels like there were leftover segments from Fire and Ice and the Desert episode, so they decided to put them in one episode. But these 2 episodes are somewhat redeemable for a reason I'll talk about later in the video. But the North America episode is the worst example of what I'm talking about, as all of the segments in this episode are just connected by being in North America. But this isn't my main problem with the show. The lack of a central narrative is the biggest issue I have with Prehistoric Planet. When Prehistoric Planet was revealed, there was a lot of supplemental articles talking about the show, and there was plenty of discussion from people involved about how the show will have a great narrative, and all I have to say is, what narrative? As good as many of the segments are, the vast majority of this show is just poorly connected segments of dinosaurs in the wild, and the worst part about a lack of a central narrative in this show is that they are somewhat able to have segments that connect with each other, with the Hatzegothrix in the Island episode and the Icysaurus in the Badlands episode being prime examples of them actually connecting segments from the episodes to each other. And these are some of the best episodes in the first 2 seasons because of that. But even then, it's too little, too late. Plenty of people have compared Prehistoric Planet to Walking with Dinosaurs, but honestly, I think a better comparison is Planet Earth and all of its various spin-offs. While both of them have a pretty similar presence, the quality of their execution is extremely different, with Planet Earth fixing many of the issues I had with Prehistoric Planet before it was even a thought in Jon Favreau's head. The segments in Prehistoric Planet by themselves are mostly fine to good. But when put together, they aren't as good as the sum of their parts, with many of these segments being poorly connected to each other and the theme of the episode as a whole. I jokingly once said Prehistoric Planet is just a compilation of dinosaur clips with narration, but the more I thought about it, the more I believed it. The first 2 seasons of Prehistoric Planet, to me, feel like a compilation of dinosaur footage. A high quality compilation of dinosaur footage, but it can't become anything greater, and any attempts of remedying this in season 2 was too little, too late. I should probably address the mammoth in the room. You've probably noticed that I've been exclusively talking about the first 2 seasons of Prehistoric Planet, and that's mainly because I haven't finished the Ice Age season at the time of writing this video, but as of now, it's actually pretty good and definitely the best season by far, with the big freeze being my favorite episode in the show by far. Many of my issues with the first 2 seasons are partially alleviated, specifically in the writing department, as the segments feel far more connected to each other and the central theme of the episode, with the first episode being mostly about different animals trying to deal with the cold and them interacting because of that. But while many of my issues with the show weren't nearly as bad with the first 2 seasons, many of my issues are starting to rear their head again in the second and especially third episode. But as of now, it's my favorite season by a wide margin, and it's good to know that they're putting more effort into the writing department. Calling back to what I said at the beginning of the video, I like Prehistoric Planet and I enjoy myself when watching the show, but Prehistoric Planet has some major flaws that I believe are ignored by the paleo community. I won't sit here and act like the show is complete dog shit, because it's frankly not. Most of the time, it ranges from fine to good, but it's nowhere near being the best paleo documentary in my eyes. Walking with Dinosaurs and Beast absolutely destroy Prehistoric Planet. Walking with Monsters is better, but not by much if I'm going to be honest. All the Nigel Marven documentaries are better, and this is going to be a hot take of mine, but I enjoy When Dinosaurs Roamed America more than Prehistoric Planet, and I don't even have any nostalgic connections to that documentary as I watched it for the first time this year. I believe Prehistoric Planet is revered within the paleo community for 2 reasons. It came out during a drought of good paleo content, and at the time, it was a real breath of fresh air, and it also has some of the best visual effects I've seen in my life. I think people would be a lot harsher on this documentary if the visual effects weren't some of the best in the business, and if it didn't come out when it did. Obviously, I will give the show credit where it deserves, and I will especially give it credit in educating the general public and getting them interested about paleontology, as I actually have first-hand experience with this, as I used to be a docent at my local museum and interacted with plenty of guests because Prehistoric Planet got them interested in paleontology, and I can guarantee I'm not the only person with this experience. Prehistoric Planet has had a net positive on the paleo community and the general public, but the show has plenty of flaws and it is the most overrated paleo documentary ever made, as it's just a compilation of prehistoric animals. Nothing more, nothing less. While it might be entertaining, the lack of a central narrative keeps it from competing with the greatest dinosaur documentaries of all time. This video is and will remain to be my most controversial video for a while, and I genuinely hope y'all consider what I said, and even if you disagree with me, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Please stay civil in the comments, as at the end of the day, it's just a dinosaur documentary, and I don't want this to turn anything even remotely as bad as the discourse around the goldfish mentality video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and watching another video. But I don't have much else to say, so bye-bye y'all. Have a nice day.